I didn't forget to save. Nope, not me. I would never! I'll be right back. Hello everyone, this is Rin from Super Cat Punch, and I definitely did not forget to save and have to play through, but that's okay. But I did get back to where I was, and I got the shard of glass that was on the ground that I forgot to pick up. So I found a piece of glass that looks like it might have been used in the murder. I will get it to Dr. Abdulov. Oh, and before we get into it, I do want to say that last month's special Paw Redeem has been chosen. Taikagami won it, which means for our next indie game, we will be playing Backrooms Doors, which was your choice for the next game we are playing. I know nothing about that game, like, at all, or much about the Backrooms in general, so that'll be interesting. I found a piece of glass that looks like it might have been used in the murder. I'll get it to Dr. Abdulov. Thanks, Will. I hope it gives us something. You're welcome. Okay, so I did everything else, I believe. So we can talk to the landlord or the police officers. Let's talk to the nervous-looking man, the landlord, I think. Sir? Sorry. May I ask you a few questions? I spoke to the other guy, the cop over there. He said I'm not in trouble. Am I in trouble? No, sir. We just need to get a clear picture of what's happened here. Oh. What's your name, sir? It's Carl. Carl Laidlaw. I told the other guy this. Relax, it's just to be polite. I like to know who I'm talking to. You're the landlord? And janitor, handyman, you name it. Let's discuss what happened tonight. Can you start by telling me your involvement? I wasn't involved. I found her. So you called it in? Yeah. And what time was this? About 9:30, I think. I don't know. The other cop said that was the time. I didn't look. So start from the beginning, if you could. You went up to her apartment? Yeah. You had a key? I got keys to all the apartments. It's my building. Serena, Miss Challenor didn't have a door as such, what with her having the whole top floor and all. See, this used to be an old clothes factory, so you need to unlock the button to the top floor. Okay, so I don't think we need to be sociable and humorous here. I don't think we need to be demanding. He is giving us the information, so I'm gonna be kinda calm, diplomatic. I see. How was she the last time you saw her? Happy. She's always happy nowadays, always smiling. Interesting, so when you arrived, I saw the blood. You've been up there, it's everywhere. I just stood there for a while. I was too scared to move, then I called out to see if Miss Challenor was okay. There was no answer, so I searched the place. I was careful not to touch the blood, of course, and when I got to the bedroom, I saw... Yes? Well, I don't know what I saw. You've been up there. What are those things supposed to be? Those rope things? Who could have ripped her apart like that? I ran out of there as fast as I could, and I called the cops. That's it. That's the whole story. I'd like to ask you a few questions about the victim. Okay. How long have you known Miss Challenor? Since January. I think she moved here from down south somewhere. Said she wanted a fresh start. She ain't local. And she rented the whole top floor. She said she wanted somewhere with enough space to get her painting done. How would you describe her personality? I don't know, buddy. She was quiet, Always paid on time, was polite enough. Towards the end, she sort of changed. In what way? Was she depressed? If anything, it was the opposite. She just smiled all the time. Maybe she was on drugs. She hung around with some shady characters. Like whom? People came by, guys. I didn't ask their names. Was she involved in anything dangerous? Maybe. She wore black clothes all the time, listened to loud rock music, all that stuff. Wearing black clothes is hardly dangerous. I know that, but these kids today get drunk all the time, get into drugs, and her paintings were weird sometimes. Really oily? I don't know how to describe it. Looking at her apartment, she seems to be an artist. Well, he did tell us that. Yeah, she was, and a good one, I suppose. Not just an artist, she helped run a gallery too, sold her paintings there. I guess she brought some money with her when she came to town. A gallery? Do you remember the name of it? Starlit Gallery, maybe? I think it's over in Neptune. Her and some other girl ran it, but I never met her. Oh, clue gained! Starlit Gallery. It was a solid lead. I needed to let Luna know. Heck yeah! We found a set of boot prints in her apartment. Do you have any idea who they may belong to? You know, I noticed that they only went, unless I was blind, which, that's a possibility, they weren't on the stairs, and they only led from the elevator to the rug. So the bloody boot prints weren't upstairs, right? We'll have to check, but I don't know. She had a few visitors, but I can't really remember them. She did have a boyfriend a couple of months back, some young punk with green hair and metal in his face. I think they wore some big leather boots. Do you remember his name? She called him Marky, so Mark something? I don't know his last name. Clue gained. Name Mark. Yeah. It was a start, but I needed to find out his surname. Okay, so I think we've gained everything we can from him. Let's talk to Hogan. Officer Hogan. Detective Stanhope. Quite the scene upstairs. That's an understatement. Are you finished with the landlord? He's all yours. Well, I talked to him already. Officer Bruce. Stanhope. Got a time for a word? Not really, and neither do you. Let's get this wrapped up so we can all go home, huh? Okay. That's fine, I guess. Okay, so there are boot prints here. I guess there's blood well, no, that's a rug, isn't it? That's just a rug. There's blood here, and in the vent, and a little bit on the stairs. So I guess there is on the stairs, but there's no, boot prints here. I feel like that would have been a detail that was included, you know? Interesting. Oh, you know what I also did not forget? My detective hat, because I would never forget my detective hat. I found out where Serena worked, a place called the Starlit Gallery. I've been there, in Neptune, right? That's what the landlord says. Can you follow that up for me? Consider it done. There was more to be found here. I needed more leads. Okay, so there is something that I'm missing. Okay, I looked in the address book. I combined the name Mark with the address book, and I got there was only one Mark in the pocketbook. Mark Torrance. I needed to look him up in the APD database. Okay, so after figuring out Mark's last name, I have something new here with Luna. I found a name, Mark Torrance. He was involved with Serena. Great work. Can you follow that up for me tomorrow? I'm going to need to stay with forensics tonight to scour the apartment. Of course, make sure you get some sleep when you can. I'll do my best. I had enough leads. Luna could finish up here. It was time for me to get some sleep. I'm going to head back now. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Thanks for your help, Will. You're welcome. Alright, now we can leave. Also, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna save. Please choose the name to save this game as Detective. Oh, Detective. Save. Yeah. Okay, so did that work? Let me just make sure it worked. Load? Okay, nice. We did it. We did it! We made progress! The night was unexpectedly calm. The air was as thick as soup, clinging to my bones as I fell asleep in my easy chair. The town seemed to be holding its breath. If I dreamed, I couldn't remember it, but that was nothing new. The dawn's sunlight was bleached bone. It was around the time I was drinking my second cup of coffee that I realized I had missed Abigail's birthday again. She probably hadn't noticed. I had never been much of a father, but she never really needed me, even when her mother passed away. Maybe I'd ring her later, but first it was time to visit the morgue. Dr. Abdullah had been burning the midnight oil. I remember this part. Thank you for completing the autopsy so promptly, Dr. Abdullah. I appreciate you working through the night. No skin off my nose. I couldn't sleep. My daughter had a puppy for her birthday, and the poor thing seems to be scared of the dark. Cries all through the night. It's like having another child. And please, call me Tamir. I know we're at work, but there's no one else here. Why are you always so formal? Because I am a detective. If a person earns a doctorate, it should be respected, in my view. I have words about that. Getting a doctorate is not an easy thing. I absolutely respect somebody that can go through all of that. I have a master's, and that was hard enough. I couldn't even imagine getting a doctorate degree. That's amazing. But if you want respect, you should earn it. Just because you have a doctorate does not mean you should be more respected than anybody else, and you are not above anybody else. Having worked at the medical field with great doctors and with not so great doctors and other medical professionals with doctorates, in general, respect people until they give you a reason not to, of course. And that was my rant on doctorate degrees. Oh, I could go on a whole rant. Please tell my wife that next time you're over for dinner. We'll see how that goes. Now, shall we get started? Oof. Certainly. Do you have a time of death? That's a difficult question to answer. How so? Looking at the relative lack of cloudiness within the corneas, I would place the time of death at sometime between 8 and 9 p.m. yesterday. That fits with the statement from Chalinor's landlord. But the livor mortis, the lividity of the blood as it pulls under the skin, places the death at, 2 or 3 days ago. And then there's the soft tissue, both attached to the corpse and separate. There are aspects of necrosis that could place the time of death at a week ago. How is that possible? Honestly, I'm not sure. What was the cause of death? Well, from the scattering of the organs, you would assume a swift death due to blood loss and trauma. At least, that was my first assessment. But, the timings don't match. What do you mean? He just told you. The lungs are relatively fresh. I wouldn't want to put them on my pizza. Yes, well, I mean to say that judging from the lack of necrosis, they largely match the time of death measured through the corneal cloudiness, like I said before. The liver, however, is in a very poor state. The tissue is degrading and necrotizing at an alarming rate. Similarly, some of the skin around her stomach also carries the same sponginess, for lack of a better word. Perhaps it could be caused by some kind of acid. Maybe, if she was submerged in a bath of a corrosive agent, acid or alkaline, it could, but no. The skin of her legs, while showing lividity, is relatively well preserved. It's as if parts of her body were long dead while she was still alive. Honestly, it's a little disconcerting. Yeah? A little bit. A little? Perhaps it would affect me more if I'd had some sleep. Everything is a little vague. Have you analyzed the glass shard? Was it the murder weapon? I can't say for sure, honestly. Looking at the chest cavity and the stomach, the skin doesn't seem to be cut. It's more like a series of tears? To be honest, the skin is in such bad condition that it could have been pulled apart by someone's hands. Ooh. Unbelievable. And yet true. With regards to the glass, the majority of the blood matches the blood type of the victim. However, there was another type here. I've sent a sample to the database to be checked against existing DNA profiles, so maybe you'll get a match there. Thank you. What about the rope that was found at the scene? Rope. Yes, of course. I have a small section of it here. Where's the rest of it? On ice. You'll see why. What am I looking at here? I wish I knew. I sent a piece for DNA analysis, but it'll take a day or two. It's organic matter, fleshy, yet run through with fibers. Rather like, I don't know, cooked celery. It's as if a vine were crossed with a digestive tract. It has a rather tough exterior, but the insides are almost liquid. I'm aware of how it sounds. Please inspect it. Tell me what you think. I am no doctor. I hardly think that matters with this substance. It's moving. Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? And watch this. If I use a pin to agitate it... Good lord. The appropriate response. It appears soft on the surface. Sometimes? What do you mean? It shivers on occasion, a ripple that tenses the surface. It's like a spasm or something. This appears torn. I tried to cut it with a scalpel, but there are strong strands running beneath the surface. It was like working around knots in wood. This is the best I could do. These strands, are they growing? Apparently so. I will be freezing this section soon, believe me. I don't know what to make of this, of any of it. Why are you even taking the case, your vice? Luna asked me, and I have the time. Do you? I'll make the time, if you say so. I'm going to the office. Can you fax the completed report to me? Of course, it'll be done within the hour. Before you go, there's just one more thing. It might be nothing, but it struck me as a little curious. The victim has a tattoo. Is that so odd? Well, maybe not, but it was quite recent and the flesh was inflamed as if it were infected. It was a diamond, bright red, on the inside of her left wrist. Noted. Thank you, Tamir. You'll let me know if you find anything else? Of course. Diamond tattoo. Well, yes? Please look after yourself. Will do. I'll be in touch. Yes? Detective Stanhope, it's Officer Braintree. Dan Braintree. Sorry, sir, but a letter was delivered to you by hand this morning. I left it at your computer. I see. Should I have left it on your other desk with the lamp? I'm sure I'll find it. Is there anything else? I do also have a message from Officer Bruce, which is... I don't think he was being serious, actually. It wasn't very professional, just mentioning where to put your case files. Never mind. Thanks, Braintree. My pleasure, Detective. I realized it was raining. Odd for this time of year. But then there was nothing about today that felt right. That rope that had bound Serena Challenor held her to the wall like a fly in a web. What could it be? I tried to put it out of my mind. Abdullah was the best person to work that out. I had my own leads, and it was time to follow them up. Okay, so now I have options and stuff, and I remember there were different things that I could do. I don't know if I did it right last time. I mean, probably not. It is me. And depending, you can find stuff on the map and go places. But I do have to go, that is all the... I had a water cooler by my desk, though I rarely used it. Sorry, I saw the bubbles and just had to click on it. Love the rain sounds. Yes, right, I'm out of time. I hope I made you smile today, and I will see you next time. Bye! Bye!